I've seen a lot of cycles and full circles. I just had a meeting this week with a group, and they brought
Yeah.
to my attention some of their cool technology that we will probably integrate at Aegix. They're having a lot of clients now, and you've probably heard this, that a lot of the assets that have all been in the cloud now are getting pulled out of the cloud.
Yes.
So, hey, it's a great idea, but maybe not for everything.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trey King. And today we are very excited to have our guest, Mr. Chet Linton from Aegix Global. And we'll be diving into his story a little bit, as well as what his company does, and then some engaging insights, as always, into the technology industry. So, make sure you stick around for this one. But without further ado, Chet, welcome. Thanks for hopping on, man.
Hey, Trey, it's great to participate in your podcast. I appreciate the opportunity. Great to meet you as well.
Awesome. Chet, if we maybe can kick things off, if you would please introduce yourself, and then as well as, just give us a bit of background, a couple of snippets of your story.
Okay, yeah, happy to do so. So
Sweet.
my background has been in technology for the last 35 years.
Oh,
I've had
wow.
a couple of ed tech companies. We had really a great successful exit a few years ago from one. Predominantly, it filled the U.S. We had about 33% of all the certificated teachers in the United States that use that resource.
Yeah.
And it was it was a great experience. I had a great team, like anything I've been involved with, and just continue been looking for other opportunities, and we have another one now that we're working on. So we've learned a lot, though, of the importance of legislation and policy, and building products that stand the test of time, that people like, that work, and technology can really be a friend to solve great problems if it's built right.
Tell me, Chet, how did you, I'm curious, how did you get into this business sector? What was it that like started it out, or, sparked your initial interest? What made you so passionate about this?
Well, we had, the first company, I mean, candidly, I come from a multiple generations of educators.
Oh,
And
yeah.
for me, I thought I can't live on $30,000 a year as a teacher
Sure.
back, and I'm the oldest guy on the call. So in this meeting, so, salaries are a little better than that today, but
Yeah.
um, we realized, for me, I've always said I'm terrible at chasing money, but I'm great at driving a cause. And we
Yeah.
got passionate about seeing that all students could be successful. And the way to do that was to work with teachers. We could get to 4 million teachers. It would be very difficult to get to 55 million students in the United States. And that excludes
Mm.
all the other countries in the world. So that's really what drove us then. And now with Egix, we've really honed in and focused on safety, not only of students, but of all people. We see so many changes in the world now, and violence, and things that are quite surprising to most of us, that we've decided we need to be able to support law enforcement and those that are on the front lines, as well as communities, and do things differently, because technology enables us to be able to have a wonderful cause and solve some big problems that seem to be being overlooked right now. So it always gets back to the cause and how we can have impact.
I mean, Chet, obviously, like you mentioned, you've been at this for quite some time now. Based on your expertise, what's all the like current trends in the market that you are picking up? What way is the wind blowing these days?
Well, I've seen a lot of cycles and, full circles. I just had a meeting this week with a group, and they brought
Yeah.
to my attention some of their cool technology that we will probably integrate at Aegix. But they're having a lot of clients now, and you've probably heard this, that a lot of the assets that have all been in the cloud now are getting pulled out of the cloud.
Yes.
So hey, it's a great idea, but maybe not for everything.
Yeah.
And so, that's a big issue right now, and I think it will become a bigger issue, and because companies are trying to protect assets in any way they can. So we're seeing that. of course, I'd be remiss not mentioning AI, but we just feel like there's so much AI in our lives already that we take for granted, that we try not to make that a thing. It just needs to be well-built. Technology is going to utilize any artificial intelligence per se to be more effective and more efficient. And so those are probably some of the bigger things we're seeing right now. And then ways to utilize technology that are different and fresh. That's the joy of being an entrepreneur, is to finding things that are usually they're ideas that are out there, and we just find a way to fill the blue ocean, or for everybody
Yeah.
younger than me on the call, the white space, that
Yeah.
exists. So
I always enjoy talking to people that knows the blue oceans and the red oceans, right?
yeah.
So yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, and then your take on the market sentiment, at
On
the
the
moment, what would that be?
on the market segment.
Yeah, a sentiment. What's
Oh,
the market like these days?
yeah, so we're really I think there's a few ways to answer that. So the first piece is, as a tech company that's focused on SaaS,
Yeah.
everybody's always concerned about capital and the availability of capital. And with the
Mm.
last couple of years, we saw a lot of funds, a lot of dry powder just sit on the sidelines.
Yeah, good
And
point.
we've seen a huge shift in venture again, which is refreshing for us. We're still a young company, so we like to see favorable venture attitudes. And that's really been good for us. We're working on several opportunities right now because of those shifts. And
Mm.
then as you drill into what we do now, we're really in the community. We call it the community-based safety space or public safety, very much on schools. On one hand, the dark side, or the heavy the problem that we want to solve is the chaos that exists in the market with active shooters in schools, and a lot of the violence, and using technology in ways that can help curb that and provide solutions that keep people safe. So on one hand, we can look at the data and say, hey, violence increasing, that's a market data point.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
on the other hand, the technologies that are available allow us to address solutions more effectively. And so we're seeing a real receptiveness to what we call a safety management systems, where we pull in, what's been standalone for a long time into a single system to be able to manage and really help not only buildings and schools, but communities be safer. So.
I think this may be a good time that, if you don't mind, maybe to elaborate a bit more, and just for us, to understand what is it specifically what your company does.
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to share what we do as an organization. And so we realized, a few years ago that in fact, one of the events that was very impactful on us was Uvalde. What happened in the school in Robb Elementary School, and we had already started doing what we were doing. We had actually found this technology. We had a group bring it to us and said, "We're not sure what to do with this. Do you guys know what to do with it?" And we looked at it
Yeah.
and said, "Yes, we have some really good ideas." And then a few months after that, the Uvalde incident happened, that tragedy, and it was really impactful, and really forced us to look at things, and what are the delays on the law enforcement side? How did people respond to it? How did the community respond? What were those things that could have been avoided?
Yeah,
If the technology they had would have been more reliable, could that have saved all those lives?
sure.
And could we have avoided hearing the media beat up the officer who was standing in the hallway? People didn't realize that he was communicating with his wife, that was the teacher in the classroom, on and so we really took a serious look at that and said, how do we provide solutions that if we can avoid this problem altogether,
Yeah.
or secondarily create a greater, shorten the response time, shorten the resolution time. And so that's what's really driven us. So our product very, very much is focused on incidents, the incident itself, we're finding there's lots of preparation. Hey, you should prepare and be safe. Or,
Yeah.
hey, you had a problem. What do you do after? What's the post-incident?
Protocol.
Yeah, what's the protocol? But the actual response itself gets missed. And so what we've done is focus on, there needs to be active mapping of every single building. We call it live responsive mapping. There needs to be ways to communicate, and we call it multi-directionally. So not only like a Amber Alert system. A lot of the
Yeah.
alert systems they say they're two-way communication, but it's not two-way like we expect. So
Yeah.
we call it multi-directional chat. So if it's a school, teachers, administrators, law enforcement, responders, they all should be able to communicate. And so that's how we've done it. We want to know if people are safe, are they unsafe, and do they need medical attention? And we have the technology to allow for prioritized medical treatment in these horrible situations. And so those
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
all voids, and they've been problems even today, the things that have happened this year. These technologies aren't being utilized in the way they could. So that's our product is really designed. Aegix AIM is designed to solve that issue. And then we have some other things that will come out that are specifically to help solve some of these other issues that still exist.
That still exist. This is fascinating to me. Tell me, so I've already uh, you know seen a lot of value what you guys offer, but just out of your own words, right? What would you say is the most significant value what this product offers, schools and districts for that matter?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is peace of mind. As we talk to
Got it.
parents
Got
uh,
it.
and people in communities, we now have products. Our product is we're at state capitals. We're in 3 hospital networks. We're in several hundred schools,
Yeah.
and so we're in city buildings and county buildings. And what's happening now is that we have communities that are saying, hey, we have a greater feeling of safety, back
Mm.
to my comment about peace of mind. So if we can help facilitate that better, that's huge, and that's really that's a force worth driving towards, a cause worth driving to.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Purpose. Tell me, Chet, without obviously naming a institution,
Hmm.
is there maybe an example of where there was, I'm just taking a shot in the dark here, right? But an
Yeah.
example of where there was an incident and where, this actually played a big role into, either, you know, lesson response time or, or prevented something, is there maybe something you can, just provide us with,
Yeah.
with an example?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 examples. We had a high school a few months ago that had, in fact, we actually just saw the alert go off, and then
Yeah.
started to read the uh, the chat and realized that a teacher had seen 3 students carrying
Yeah.
guns going to a high school, and they, fortunately knew well enough about the product to send out an alert to all the staff. They locked the building down, and they were able to apprehend the students. So called the police and just completely avoided it. We had another one where the police actually were informed a student was going to school with a firearm, and they sent
Yeah.
out what we call a reverse alert. So they pushed the button, sent it out to the school. The school said they were locked down in 90 seconds, and then the police were able to apprehend the individual. So those are the stories. Both those don't really make the news, thank heavens. We like this safe bubble that we have in the United States, and want people to feel as safe as they can. But there are incidents. We have incidents virtually every day, not necessarily with firearms, but might be knives or fighting or a medical incident in a school or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. We've had, I don't know if you've heard about the swatting incidents in the United States. All the
No, no.
so there's a huge number of swatting incidents. Some of those are directed from overseas, and what happens is a school will be notified that they have a shooting. Usually, the
Yes.
police department is called. The police department then calls a high school. So we had a high school client that had just been trained a week before, and they had The police department called the principal and said, hey, you've got 2 students that have been shot in your school. We just had the report. Principal hits the notification button, said we locked the school down in 30 seconds. All of the classrooms show up as safe except for one. Now, this is a whole high school. And
Yeah.
the police
Geez, in
chief,
30 seconds.
yeah, we tie into the police. The police all see what police and sheriff's office get the same alerts and information, the notifications. So the police chief was at a conference, and so was the incident commander. They
Mm.
start seeing all of this going on in the class in the building, even though they're 3 hours away. So they jump in their car and hit the lights and the siren, and they're driving back to deal with this. The SWAT team gets deployed. There's one classroom that's red, so unsafe. So teachers in the school start saying, hey, Mrs. Smith, are you safe? Is the
You're
shooter
right.
in your room? And she says, no, 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 I'm safe. I was just scared. And the teachers say, hey, remember, if you're safe and all your kids are, then just mark your room, mark yourself as safe. So she changed. Well, this incident commander sees that all the classrooms are safe. And he said, we may have a hoax, chief. And there were 4 students that were missing from 3 classrooms. Those teachers had all filed a missing person report, and 3 other teachers responded and said, "No, your kids are here. They're safe." So they knew that everybody was safe in the building. And 15 minutes into it, the lieutenant that was the incident commander, and by the way, at this time, SWAT's on site. They're
Yeah.
going through the building. He said, hey, this is a hoax. Everybody's safe and accounted for. Now, about that time, students are holding up their phones and they're saying, hey, I there's 7 people shot in our building. There's 5 students that are down. There's 3 teachers that are down because social media was blowing up. And the teachers would look at Aegix AIM and say, you know what, everybody's safe. That's
Everybody's accounted for.
We're all good. And so the students had a they calmed everybody right down. Within 24 minutes, the school was back up and working. That day, there were about 13 hoaxes in the state of Utah. We had 2 schools that had our product. The other school knew it was a hoax immediately because everybody was safe, and
Yeah.
they knew the principal that, yeah, this isn't real. So it's there's a few examples that hopefully help.
Yeah, no, thanks. It actually helps me to understand this. I was thinking about preventative, like you mentioned in the first two instances, whereas this one actually, this last example that you just mentioned now, that allows that business as usual, can go on quicker because of these systems. As
Yes.
well, that for things like hoaxes. I mean, I didn't even think about that. This is so interesting, Chet, very much so. Uh, I would
Well,
like
and
to,
they often have, a building can be locked down, a school.
yeah,
Imagine a teacher being locked in a classroom for 4 hours with her class or his class, or 6 hours while they're waiting for a building to be cleared. So that's
that breeds
just,
another monster, right? That breeds another
yeah,
monster.
that's just, anyway. So there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah, very interesting. I would like to get your opinion on just from we can step back a bit, just from a holistic view of business, right?
Yeah.
In your opinion, Jed, what type of mindset would you say is needed to be a successful founder of a company?
Hmm. Never say die.
It's like a bumper sticker, right?
Yeah, it is. Burn the ships,
Yeah,
It- to be a founder, an entrepreneur it's not easy. Um, I've told my team for the last couple of years, I said, we're all busting a gut. There are times when you worry about payroll and expenses and as you're getting a wonderful organization off the ground, it is hard, hard, hard work.
yeah,
And I tell everybody, I said, all of you that stay here and make it through this, you're going to be you're going to be part of the story that's an overnight success. And they hear me say that and it's like, what are you talking about? We're just trying to survive. And we said, yeah, you just wait. Give us about 3 years from now and everybody's going to talk about, oh,
mm,
well, Chet knew those people, or somebody at their team just had connections, and everyone forgets. They don't realize the blood, sweat, and tears. So for founders, it is hard work. Um, but I think it's good to just know that and then surround yourself with great people. that
Yeah.
know that it's going to be hard and, talk honestly about it. And so fortunately, I've got a business partner that's just a, good, hardworking, um, and in fact, partners, our product, our CTOs over a product is also the same way as our chief growth officer. These guys, they're not afraid to pull weeds, get down in the dirt and work
Yeah.
hard. And that's
Grind
to,
out.
to get a company off the ground. That's the key. We're sitting on something right now that has we have a TAM of that's over $22 billion in the United States. That doesn't even include any
Yeah.
of the
That's
market
crazy.
outside of the US. And so
Yeah.
that all sounds great. And we have an awesome story, but we really, it's all about the team and the work and being willing to work hard. And, for young founders, you can't get caught up in the glitz and the glamour and, the $300 t-shirts and the fancy cars. It's about hard work and stretching dollars as far as you possibly can.
Tell me, Chet, where can the listeners, where can they get hold of you or the business?
For me, it's easy. I'm on LinkedIn, Chet, Chet, Linton, Linton. There aren't a lot of guys with my name. And then Aegix is easy, Aegix, egixaim.com, aegixaim.com. Those are the easiest ways. But yeah, it's an honor to be on the show and happy to help and do whatever we can to help other companies and founders try to figure things out. It makes all the
Yeah.
difference. We got some support.
I had such a good time. There was such a fruitful conversation. Very, very interesting, I must say. And I can fully understand why you guys are so successful, and I wish you guys all the best going forward. May you just grow from strength to strength. And thanks for hopping on, Chet. We appreciate it, man.
Hey, you bet. It's great. I appreciate it as well. And let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, was fun. Take care.
All right, you too. We'll see ya.